Time now for weather with Nebraska Extension Ag Climatologist and Market Journal Chief Meteorologist Al Dutcher. Al, we are out of the deep freeze and we are looking forward to a new month as well. What's the forecast say?
Well, Troy, we actually had a fairly decent week. Temperatures warmed up enough. We got a pretty significant snow melt across the region. A lot of it got into the soils where the heaviest snowpack was. We didn't have a deep frost there. Further north, of course, we did have the frost, and a lot of that was runoff. But overall, we didn't see much in the way of significant rises in our rivers. And as we go forward in time with the snow melt already disappearing rapidly, I don't think we'll have a major issue with that unless we see some ice jams form from the temperatures as we get into the 50s next week. But by the end of next week, I think we're going to clear a lot of this out of the way. And overall, it looks like a fairly decent forecast ahead, so let's get right to the models and see what we can expect. First thing is, most of our activity will be this weekend with this trough that is moving out of the western United States. Some energy is starting to move through, and we're starting to see some flurry activity developing across southern South Dakota. Low pressure at the surface in southeastern portions of Nebraska will lift a little bit of light, give a little bit of light lift as we see that snow breaking out across South Dakota and the precipitation to our southeast. Then the flow kind of splits a little bit. The cold air moves toward the Great Lakes and we get a little southern stream action. So high pressure, that cooler high pressure settles in over the Central Plains, keeping us fairly much consistent this weekend, primarily in the 40s. The major precipitation moves over into the mid-Mississippi River Valley, and as we get into Monday, we start to see high pressure building in, much warmer conditions in store for the next few days. High pressure firmly in control both to our east, our west, and to our south. Nothing in the way of any precipitation is going to be expected. We'll see basically clear skies in our region if everything shifts to the east, and as we get into Tuesday, we get a zonal flow, downsloping winds, brings us back up into the 50s across the west and to the east, and maybe even a few 60s in the southwest. Low pressure of the Texas Panhandle has no moisture to work with. It's basically just a thermal low as most of the activities are on the Gulf Coast. And as we get into Wednesday, the trough tries to deepen a little bit. We'll get a little cooler conditions in northeast Nebraska, but still warm conditions across western Nebraska, primarily again in the 50s. And the things start to break down as we get into Thursday, as we start to see some precipitation that's indicated in the southwest start to try to make its way into our region. GFS is moving this southern stream trough rather quickly. I think maybe a little too fast, but if it is correct, low pressure starts to develop in the Texas Panhandle on Thursday. That's going to start to generate some precipitation in the southwest and the Rockies, maybe even a few precipitation returns in the southwestern part of the state. And on Friday, as this trough deepens, we see the ridge building in the upper atmosphere in the west. The mid-layer low will start to work out into the Central Plains, and we'll start to see some precipitation breaking out. So if this system is being generated too fast, as I think it is with the GFS, we're most likely going to see a much slower pace of this low coming out of the southwest, and that may prolong or give us a much more lived precipitation across the Central Plains. Stay tuned, things are probably going to change as we go to the end of next week. As we go farther out, it takes us from next Thursday to the following Tuesday. Most of that warmth starts to build into the east as colder conditions develop in the west under the troughing action moving into the western United States. And in terms of precipitation, looks like we'll return to drier than normal conditions.